doctor, but I play one on TV. I know the problem, you've got just one policy. You do the opposite of what the Donald does. Don't know what you believe just because you got that TDS. You've tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. Open the borders, let Mamdani pick your pocket. Let the boys beat the girls, they got that extra rocket. A theology degree from Starbucks. You declare that America sucks. You got that TDS. You've tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. If you're red, alright, let's get this party started. If you're left, you're blue and probably retarded. Like Rosie, De Niro, Jimmy Kimmel, Kathy Griffin. No kings, no kidding, we don't live in Great Britain. If J6 was the worst thing you've ever seen, Soros, burning Sadie's a mostly peaceful thing. Bring back the cartels, commute their crimes, sack the fact checkers like the New York Times. He's a Nazi, a fascist, a racist dictator who lets you say what you want to say.
Luke, I am your daddy.
You got that TDS. You tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. No matter what he says, you must be really dumb, 'cause you keep blaming Trump for your problems.
Side effects of Trump derangement syndrome may include violent behavior, delusions, nightmares, insomnia, irrational hatred, hopelessness, anxiety, depression, blue hair, tantrums, inability to form coherent speech, difficulty maintaining gainful employment, and verbal diarrhea.
There's no cure in sight.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the program. Give me the finger, please. Just like my permanent detractors do. Instead, just waving it and not waving in the air, just click that like, share, or follow with the program. Hey, by the way, before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. You know, we released my newest book, The Grow Soil Bible. Soil is the most important thing there is, right? Look at that. Ooh, don't know why it turned dark. Anyway, this is the paperback version. Now, myself, for me, they're all in color. Why? Because you have to be able to see the subtleties in the soil. I do paperback to do my best to try to save the cost of publishing because they can be expensive. But I would like to show you, because I even got my first one. Here's the hardbound. For me, I just prefer the hardbound, right? Even the hardbound's even better color than you're going to find in the paperbacks. It's just a function of the printing process and everything that goes on. But the hardbound, I just got my first one, right? Finally got them sent to me. So I even have copies of my own book. But this is what the hardbound looks like. And for me, I try for everything. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm a book bigot. I just prefer hardbound because I want to keep it permanent. Anyway, it's another good looking book, right? And we've got two more. I'm trying to get all of the various things cleaned up. We got to clean it up. I work on books all the time, and two are just really relevant now. So I've had to really just lock down and rush through to get the things done. I haven't forgotten about you guys with, your own gold claims and gold land. Sorry, I had to get these finished. Anyway, the first one you'll see here in very short order, which will also be paperback, hardbound. And by the way, I will probably release this particular one in ebook because of the type of topic it is. But it's called The Three-Toed Dragon, the Communist China Secret War to End American AI and Data Centers. And you hear everybody bitching and complaining about data centers. I'm going to show you the real truth behind them, the real stats, so you can verify it yourself, but also why this is a war. Additionally, you're saying horrible things online, like kids getting other kids to kill themselves. It's kind of hard to fathom that people online can convince another kid they should just kill themselves. You're also finding people making contests out of it, trying to see who can get someone to kill themselves. That's sad too. But also, various studies got completed, and the number one contributor to a kid identifying as trans is what they see on social media. So releasing at basically the same time, I'm releasing my book called The Golem Effect: Precious Pixels, Deadly Devices, and How the Digital Social Era is Creating Killer Kids. The numbers, the stats, the information, the data is absolutely appalling at how much our digital societies, particularly social media, causes these things. Don't fear, in that book, it's not just doom and gloom, both of them. You got action plans at the back, how to push back, how to fight, how to protect America. But in this one, I give you action plans in the back, broken down by if you're going to be a new parent, if you have children from like 0 to 8, from 9 to 18, etc. If you are a teenager, you think you've been subjected to this. If you're a grandparent, aunt or uncle, if you're a counselor or a therapist or a pastor, how you can help combat the Golem effect. And I write at the beginning of that particular book, it's really interesting, just to digress just for a moment. What we're going to talk about today is our culture and our culture crisis. But I tell the story that starting back in 99, early 99, I kept on having a recurring dream. Now, my life at the time, I'm probably spending 300 days a year on an airplane. And I'm bebopping back between all of our various offices, because I had offices in London and Hong Kong and Dallas and New York City and Los Angeles, etc. But I kept on having this recurring dream that I'm in the plane, but for some reason we're going in close to the ground. I mean, I could see people's faces in the cars and terror as the plane screaming over, and we're weaving in and out between buildings. And I just kept on having that recurring dream. And then simultaneously with that dream, I kept on, if it happened once, it happened 1,000 times, right? Or actually 900, 720 some odd times. But it's almost like every day, for some reason, when I'd look at the clock, it'd be 9/11, either the AM or PM, mostly both of them. And I thought it's really, really weird. Why do I keep on saying 9/11? Well, long story short, I'm in the middle of a public run with my tech company. 9/11 happens. It completely changes my whole life. And it's a combination of those two dreams that going, wow, man, I'm like getting feedback from beyond that this was going to happen. Of course, even though the company went down, we went and nurtured my patents, got even more granted. They still grant to this day. And it's why you can scan any barcode in the world, Q code, book, record, tape, it doesn't matter, product, and you can retrieve information. That was the technology platforms, scan to connect, scan commerce, right? Scan to reveal. And I kind of laughed because people, Mark Cuban being one, said stupidest invention ever. Well, the new data came out of people use of scanning codes. And the new data on it, here it is, we're 26 years later. The new data is there are active in scans on any given day 2.9 billion scans a day, a trillion codes created every single year. I'm pretty proud of that. A trillion codes created every year, 2.9 billion scans a day. Now, the reason I tell you that is because I was writing a prologue for this particular book. One of the other recurring dreams that I had all during that time, and still happens to this day, for some reason in a dream, I would accelerate forward in time and I would be able to see my great-great-great-grandchildren. And I'm there as an observer. And the first thing I notice, I'm alarmed because they're all kind of gray skinish, like they never get out and get the sun, looking really weird, stooped over, like their necks were just kind of permanently down. Their necks were elongated. They could only look a little left. They could only look a little right. One hand was formed like a phone gripper, flat, no really fingers, just little digits to hold the phone. The other hand was more like a long and a short stylus, and that's all they could do. And I tried to talk to them because it alarmed me so much, and all I could get was kind of grunts and stuff. They were just gone. And I'm worrying in my dream, well, what the hell happened in the future? Is there some nuke attack or some chemical attack? What the hell happened, right? And then I realize, oh shit, I contributed to this. Because over time and all the generations of kids just looking down, look at their phones, not looking up, not talking, they forgot how to talk, communicate, and etc. And then I wake up from my nightmare. That's basically my opening prologue because I've contributed to this thing called the Golem effect. Unintentionally, something that was created for greatness, for information, in many ways got hijacked by evil. And that's my prologue. And so I just want to let you know, those two books are coming out very shortly. Very, very shortly. You're going to want to look for them. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at culture. Right? We're going to take a look at our culture and our culture crisis. Because I'm telling you, we are right smack dab in the middle of one. I'll give you a few minutes to share this program, and then let's get started.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll up to hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot. Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War.
After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan. But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades.
Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican, as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Good luck with that. So anyway, to sum it all up, my party has changed a shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s. But they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease. Fuck around and find out what that is.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians, the elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused emotional socialist snowflake crowd? Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, here we go. We're just going to talk about our culture crisis. Evidently, I guess the Obama brick, what do they call it? The Obama library opened. Funny, it looks like a concrete prison, doesn't it? Anyway, in the celebration, supposedly, now I didn't watch it or any of that. I've just seen little snippets, people commenting. Did you know there were no American flags? Isn't that odd? Do you find that odd for an American president? It does. Now, it does kind of look like a very tall trash can, doesn't it? Not all joking aside. I mean, it's not very attractive at all. But I find it, well, I guess I shouldn't. I find it surprising that there were no American flags or no American patriotism involved in it. And they started, evidently, with a ceremonial land acknowledgement. If they actually believed what they talked about, a ceremonial land acknowledgement from the native tribes, wouldn't they have bought the land and then handed it back to said native tribes, which they didn't do? I just find it interesting. And then I find it interesting that you're seeing all kinds of contractors come out. They give all these contracts to, ethnic minority groups, and now they're finding out their bills aren't getting paid, which I find is really weird. And it's just like there was a new, I forget what state it is, maybe California, appropriated $628 million for some project that you have to be gay, part of the gay community, to qualify for. And evidently they have a process. I don't know how they do it. They have a process where you have to prove you're gay. I thought, how ironic. I think there's a few people out there for $625 million would take one for the team just to get the contract. Don't you think? Anyway, yes, it's reverse discrimination. And those are some of the social things that are going on in our society that totally contradict what the party doing it says they stand for. We got an all-inclusive, but only blacks can attend this celebration. I mean, my question is, do you notice these things? Do you actually notice, whether it's the left or the right? I just saw there was some incredible election integrity convention in Las Vegas. So I looked at the people who were speaking on election integrity, and it was people who really don't have anything to do with election integrity other than saying they're in election integrity. But here's this grand hoopla. What I was also amazed to find out, and I didn't watch it, but what I was also amazed to find out that maybe the guest of honor was Tina Peters. God bless Tina Peters. Been through hell. But am I correct? She was, I don't know if you want to call it chaperone or brought out or whatever, by 107. 107. Which I'm trying to understand. He's one of the big Q guys. 107 only means 107. It's not even his real name. And isn't he the guy that claimed to be, for a very long time, way back when, to be JFK Jr.? Now, I want you to think about that for a minute, because this culture, conflict, and crap is everywhere. Isn't 107? I've never interviewed him. People have said I should. I have no interest. And I have no interest because we don't agree on the most basic things. I talk about, here's how elections are bad. Here's how they do it with people, paper, and programs. Here are the facts. Here we fix it. And his thing is, President Trump was president. The military's still in it. QQQ drop. And I'm JFK Jr. Which I think he subsequently stopped saying. But do I have that right? Some of you I know may watch him, right? Isn't he the one that for a while, wears a cowboy hat, big old bushy beard, allows people to believe that he was JFK Jr.? Am I right or am I wrong? But when I look at this, I look at the precious person who should be guarded and protected, Tina Peters. She should be held up as a champion. But every single day that goes by, the LARPing crowd, the PSYOP crowd, the Q's in charge has always been in charge. This is now the second time. There was a big event to raise money. That was a Q, all the Q people, government still let, military's been in charge all this time. It was a setup. This is planned. That's why it's going. See, I laugh at that because you would have to, at the same time, they claim they're patriots, love President Trump. But at the same time, you would have to say, well, President Trump let a lot of people die with COVID because he had to prove a point. These people don't think this stuff through, right? I'm not promoting him, but to clarify, it was his wife who was promoting him, has the soul of JFK Jr. Okay, is that any different? Let's say he's the left toe of JFK Jr. He's the resurrected toenail of JFK Jr. Are you okay with that? Whether it was his wife who promoted it or his child or otherwise, are you okay with that? I find some of these things in our culture to be incongruent. Let me tell you what I mean incongruent. Okay. And yes, when you look him up, I think his name's Will Hoyt or something like that. He was born before JFK Jr. I just have transactional ethical logic issues with them that I'm not able to reconcile that it's okay. Because even if you believe President Trump was still in charge and he knew the COVID thing and he did it because operationally he had to rat out the good people, you're at the same time saying, well, he let millions of people die just to prove a point so he could run an operation. People don't think through these things. It's just like when I interviewed the Lindell TV guy, Mike Dillon, and on his list were Elon and Klaus Schwab and Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump, all the keyword as bad, evil people taking over the world. I ended up liking the guy because it was at least open-minded. Where my slides would have gone in doing an interview with him is for years he promoted himself as the Elon Musk of the Maha movement. You can't have it both ways in any of it. And it's just like why I even brought up election integrity. I'm concerned. How can Tina Peters bring anything good out of her incarceration, which happened, which she experienced, which people love and adore as they should, but who's parading her around are the Q crowd, President Trump was always in charge. If President Trump was in charge of every bit of that and has been, and this is an operation, at the same breath, you'd have to believe that President Trump then allowed Tina Peters to go to prison to prove a point. I don't get this. And I don't even get how this Q stuff is even still going, being resurrected, or anything else. But they are robbing, in my opinion, Tina of any credibility she has to ever fix this by attaching themselves to her. Now, granted, she lost everything. Maybe she sees that as the way to dig herself out financially. Maybe it is. Don't know. But it's... Yeah, Wayne Wilhoit. I thought it was Wilhoit or Willot. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And these are the things that I think we're in the midst of a culture crisis in a very, very serious way. Even our lawmakers, I never really believed, I thought there were some lawmakers stupid before I started all this digging into elections and doing a forensic audit. And then I learned a lot of, right? A lot of lawmakers are dumb as stuff. And until you can ask me about a lot of people in chat, I don't know anymore. I honestly don't know anymore who to rock solid 100% trust. I just don't. Because I see things that conflict me. People I truly trust, Mel K, Roseanne, Donna Cowboy Logic. Right? Meaning regular people you see me with, regular broadcasts that talk about election stuff. And there's some good people out there, but the normal leaders that rose in the immediate part of it, I'll just be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know who to vouch for, who to not vouch for, who to believe, who's bought into this. It's the Jew shit. I see so much stuff. And I see people in those influence groups turning on President Trump. But then at the same time, turning on Trump, I see the machinations of where they want to head with it, where they want to get. So to ask me about other people would be ridiculous. I'll give you an example. I've never watched an Alex Jones program ever. Ever. Truth be known, I thought Alex was just a bunch of conspiracy shit. Then you had the Sandy Hook stuff. I thought they railroaded him. Then I kind of watched that deal underneath fall apart and then somehow survive. And then I watch them now. President Trump's bad. The Jews run everything. Is that people just getting paid? They make people desperate, and how they get you desperate and ruin you. You've got to build back your fortune. So now you're going to talk about what they want to talk about. And then I can't make heads or tail of how does somebody come out complaining about the government, but supposedly CIA and FBI, and all of a sudden they got several million followers on YouTube. The very stuff, if you complained about the government, you'd be booted and gone. But these are the conflicts I see. But this thing on politicians, I think, predominantly being a dumber than a stump, I think is true.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people. The dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Like, that one bad apple can easily be taken care of. Why don't we get it taken care of? What's holding it back? What's holding deporting her ass? Because they know you lie, and that's the system. She lied. They know she lied. And there are people trying to exploit, like Stephen Gardner's a rock star. He's a rock star trying to get truth and stuff out. But I go back to this election integrity stuff. All the people that promoted bullshit, truly promoted absolute bullshit, are now the cast of characters of election integrity. It's all grooming, it's all posturing, and it's all about control. And that's what upsets me. And I think it's part of the dumbing down. Just like our children, don't you?
Read the index card. The Hutton. Read the index card.
There are reconciliations. I can't say that word too good, but it's reconciliations. Required extraordinary. You ain't got to say it. I know it.
Pro-preservation project required calories, planning, and substitutional. Fine.
He said something pretty enlightened there. The pro-Swifferization. I'm for pro-Swiffering our school system. It does need a good Swiffer, right?
Read the index card. The Hutton. Read the index card.
There are reconciliations. I can't say that word too good, but it's reconciliations. Required extraordinary. You ain't got to say it. I know it.
Pro-preservation project required calories, planning, and substitutional. Fundamental.
Vulnerable. I can't say it, but vulnerability. Vulnerable. And emotional accountability.
I just can't say the words, but I know the words.
You know the words, though. Y'all can tell you know.
Now, let me ask you a question. Could you imagine what would happen if those, and this is predominant, this kind of stuff has gone viral all across cities, just asking people to read cards. I watched them test other versions of this, getting young people to read. Do you know what they absolutely could not read? Cursive. They could not read cursive. Now, for me, who's a book whore, and I have books that are handwritten way back when before printing presses, you know, if you can't read cursive, you can't read the Declaration of Independence or anything like that in its original form. So if you can only read type print, provided you can read, then you're only reading a version that somebody did. Are you noticing how, and here's the bit, you're right, these people vote. Do they vote because they read up on the issues and words? Do they vote because they dig deep for the facts and the evidence? This is kind of why I do my protest I do. You ever wonder why I publish so many books? Because I'm protesting part of this, the dumbing down that people don't read anymore. Here, let me ask a question. I want to ask a real-time question, okay? Let's see. Hang on, I'll go here. Okay, get ready. What percent of adults in the USA currently read at least one book a year? That's my question. What do you think it is? I don't know the answer. What do you think it is? I don't want part. It wants to give me parts. Nope. Hang on. It's cheating on me. Hang on. See, even asking AI, it said, well, such and such, you know, if you read parts and parts, that's it. %48 of Americans read at least one book a year. I would have never guessed that. I would have said it was 25% or less. I'm not sure if I believe this. Let me ask a different AI. Hang on. Let's just see what the difference is. And we're going to, because I just want to know. See, for me, I put out books because I want to promote, we got to read. We've lost reading. So I'm asking another AI interface. In a minute here, I'll turn on. I can run 24 agents at one time and see what it says as a collective. Okay. Now, the category, ironically, that enables this to happen is fiction. Okay. Hang on. I'm running multiple bots. 46% of adults. Now I'm going to twist it. Ready? Now I've asked it a question: a political book, a history book, or a scientific book? It kicked me back an error. Let's see what happens. I'm discounting because I realized when I look in the facts here, it's actually allowing a comic to be considered as a book. I kind of think that's cheating a bit. So I've narrowed it down to a political book, science or education book, or history book. What do you think the number is? I'm waiting for all of them to run their analysis. what would you say their rating is? Now, they're trying to say that 48% of Americans read a book. Honest question. Not you, but how many people around you read, right? Okay, here's the real numbers. 8% of Americans read, 8% of actual Americans read cover to cover history books on an annual basis, at least one. In politics, let's see, what would that be? Hang on. It's 5. Wait. It's not quite 4%. In science books, it's about 1.8%. Now, I'm not dissing any of the categories. Maybe if you get anybody to read, it doesn't matter how you get them to read, you can get anybody to read. But I think that's one of the things that has created this culture crisis we have, right? Let's like this. You're right. I didn't do self-help books. I'll do the category of self-help books. But I think this is what's created part of our crisis, is because we have fallen out of love with reading. And a lot of people equate what they read on their phone or what they read on a website as reading. I have to tell you, this is only me. I don't consider what you read on your mobile phone or what you read on a website statistically, right, as the same as reading a book. Okay, so self-help books, now they're adding in at least listened to, right? Self-help books, looks like self-help books jumps maybe to 10%, right? And technically the Bible contains many books. Let's just ask that question. We'll see where this goes. How many USA citizens have read the Bible cover to cover at least one time? Not parts, but whole. Let's just see what this says. What would your guess be? I'm not sure that cookbooks would count, although when you look at it with me doing a cookbook, because I have several in process, it has a very deep history element to it that requires you to understand the history of why I'm giving you this particular recipe. It basically says that 22% of Americans have adults. 22% of Americans reported to have read the Bible cover to cover. Interesting. But I do think this trend with our young ones is getting worse. This proves it.
Read the index card. The Hutton. Read the index card.
There are reconciliations. I can't say that word too good, but it's reconciliations. Required extraordinary. You ain't got to say it. I know it.
Preservation project required calories, planning and substitutional fundamental.
Vulnerable. I can't say it, but vulnerability. Vulnerable and emotional accountability. I just can't say the words, but I know the words.
You know the words, though. Y'all can tell you know.
It might actually be the proliferation of fundofecal matter, because it's a fundofecal problem in the United States of America. I think another fundofecal problem is this culture crisis, you tell me, has invaded even our sacred places. Let's go to church.
Wrong. And I learned how to get along.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a trans dance club video. I didn't mean to show you that yet. Let me correct. Let's go to church.
Wrong. And I learned how to get along.
Yes. This is a church service.
Wrong. And I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I did it right. You got crumbled. You got laid down and die. Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. Look how you try. But now I hold my head up high and you see me. Somebody new. I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. Now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now.
Somebody said that's the laying on of hands church. No, that needs to be corrected. It is the incredible use of hands church. Folks, what a shame. I loved the music. Who doesn't love that piece of music? It just makes you want to get up and boogie. That is a church. That is a church.
What's wrong? And I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face.
And that's one of the pastors. Pastesses? Patsies with pasties? I don't know what they call them. Now, I'm no choir boy. But how is this not sacrilegious and demonic?
What's wrong? And I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I did it right. You got crumbled. You got laid down and die. Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey. Look how you try. But now I hold my head up high and you see me. Somebody new. I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to be free. Now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now.
You know, over in the Middle East, one of the things they say about the United States of America is America is the great Satan. Now, you think if people overseas see this stuff, they have a right to believe that America is the great Satan? Did you notice the ladies in the front row were tipping as if it was a strip club? Do you agree we're in the midst of a national culture crisis? I think this manifests itself in many ways. And I know you saw a lot of older women and men in that audience, gray hair, blue hair, whatever you want to call it. It's not just our kids that are infected by this.
Oh, look at this. This is embarrassing.
How old are your granddaughters?
They are 6 and 8.
Would you support them to get hormone blockers to become the other gender?
I would absolutely support them to get hormone blockers.
If your granddaughter came to you and wanted to get a tattoo, what would you say?
That would be more difficult.
Really? Why tattoos?
There's just something so permanent about it.
Permanent?
It's pretty permanent. It's very difficult to get them lasered off or removed.
You don't think it's like permanent to change your gender?
They're so stupid.
Did you see her face? She had never thought through this before. Watch the recognition of, lady, you're living a lie. Watch the recognition when it dawns on her.
Oh, look at this. This is embarrassing.
How old are your granddaughters?
They are 6 and 8.
Would you support them to get hormone blockers to become the other gender?
I would absolutely support them to get hormone blockers.
If your granddaughter came to you and wanted to get a tattoo, what would you say?
That would be more difficult.
Really? Why tattoos?
There's just something so permanent about it.
Permanent?
It's pretty permanent. It's very difficult to get them lasered off or removed.
You don't think it's like permanent to change your gender?
They're so stupid.
Think about that for a moment. And I've shown you teenage, young adults. I've shown you citizens. I've shown you church. What's happening to our tiniest?
We were just talking about Reconciliation Week. And what did you say, Evie?
Mummy said that I was the white people and I didn't want to.
Don't want to be the white people.
And I want to be the brown skin people.
Yeah, but we're trying to make it better, aren't we?
Yeah, and the white people took everything away, like children, babies, like that.
Away from them.
Away
From the Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
But now reconciliation is about making friends and trying to fix it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, but I'm still upset about that white skin.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do it. It was the people before us. But I understand what you mean.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
You don't understand, Mom, what she means. You're watching a child regurgitate your bullshit, your beliefs, your issues, and all of a sudden, you think you have an enlightened child. Let me tell you, Mama, what you have in that 3-year-old. You have a mind that's been poisoned to be ashamed of not only who they are, but the way God made them.
We were just talking about Reconciliation Week. And what did you say, Evie?
Mummy said that I was the white people and I didn't want to.
Don't want to be the white people.
And I want to be the brown skin people.
Yeah, but we're trying to make it better, aren't we?
Yeah, and the white people took everything away, like children, babies, like that.
Away from them.
Away
From the Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
But now reconciliation is about making friends and trying to fix it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, but I'm still upset about that white skin.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do it. It was the people before us. But I understand what you mean.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
I don't even know how to categorize that or put it into words. Yeah, wow, wow, wow. Is that I'm better than you? Look how good I am. Look how understanding in the right side of history I am. No, it's child abuse. Now, ironically, we tend to associate this dissemblance and crap with just the left. And this is my beef. We don't even audit our own lawmakers. We don't even audit what politicians say, but we're supposed to believe, therefore, America, kumbaya. And so many people forget this little ditty.
Well, let me give you my view of what happened January the 6th. And we're here. We saw what happened. It was a violent insurrection for the purpose of trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a legitimately certified election from one administration to the next. That's what it was. With regard to the suggestion that the RNC should be in the business of picking and choosing Republicans who ought to be supported, traditionally the view of the national party committees is that we support all members of our party, regardless of their positions on some issues.
Do you have confidence in her, Ronna McDaniel, as chairwoman of the committee?
I do, but the issue is whether or not the RNC...
And you look who's standing behind him. Look, 2020 couldn't happen without the RNC involved, without the RNC turning away. And it's just like this election integrity stuff. People can't even see operatives right in front of them because all you got to do is sprinkle certain words. Well, I'm a patriot. I'm this, and we're going to fix this, and Jesus, 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 and God this. And you can't even see it. You absolutely know historically January 6th was a setup, but...
Well, let me give you my view of what happened January the 6th. And we're here. We saw what happened. It was a violent insurrection for the purpose of trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a legitimately certified election.
You probably remember that before this, they were saying Trump's not going to accept the results because America hates him and he's not going to do a peaceful transfer of power. And then you hear the turtle regurgitate it. Now, this is not just about illiteracy and reading and the culture crisis we're in. We as a nation are totally illiterate by design about money and how things work.
So you said you're a socialist?
Yeah. Oh God, am I gonna get roasted? Yeah.
What we're asking people today is, what do you think about Zohran Mamdani's plan to tax the billionaires and to create a more equitable tax structure in New York City?
I love him. It's unbelievable. Okay. Shouldn't we all be more equitable?
Well, let me ask you this. So there's about 1,000 billionaires in the United States.
Okay.
If we taxed them 100% and liquidated all their assets, we could fund the federal government for about 10 months. What do we do after that?
But that's not how the government works. Also, no one needs to be a billionaire. The amount that you...
See, the system has taught young minds not to value capitalism, which is why they teach anti-capitalism, which she doesn't even understand. She's making a decision what a person gets to be or not. Nobody should be a billionaire. When she doesn't even understand what built this great country and how it economically works.
So you said you're a socialist?
Yeah. Oh God, am I gonna get roasted? Yeah.
What we're asking people today is, what do you think about Zohran Mamdani's plan to tax the billionaires and to create a more equitable tax structure in New York City?
I love him. It's unbelievable. Okay. Shouldn't we all be more equitable?
Well, let me ask you this. So there's about 1,000 billionaires in the United States.
Okay.
If we taxed them 100% and liquidated all their assets, we could fund the federal government for about 10 months. What do we do after that?
But that's not how the government works. Also, no one needs to be a billionaire. The amount that you could fund over time by taxing a portion of their income would house people, it would provide health care, it would do a lot of incredible things. Why? What do you think?
I think that would be a bad idea. I think even a marginal increase on taxes de-incentivizes business growth.
Why do you think it's a bad idea?
Because it de-incentivizes business growth. So we actually limit and reduce economic activity.
Individuals who monopolize a portion of, not a portion, they monopolize the income for individuals. And actually, if you want to make a more equitable society, you should increase economic mobility for individuals so then more of them can be active members of society rather than a couple of people hoarding majority of the wealth.
That's what free market capitalism does. Right? Because what they're doing is they're creating businesses and creating jobs for people that creates economic growth. And also, they're already paying 40% of the taxes in this country. The top 1% is. So I think I would rather have New York City a business hospitable environment so people aren't fleeing to Florida and Texas.
But that's such like a crock of shit. People aren't actually leaving.
Ken Griffin, just last week, said he's leaving.
One individual?
No, a lot of them are. And actually even Kathy Hochul, New York State, said that she wants the people to come back who have left so they can afford to fund the social programs here.
I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. If you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded.
I mean, Mamdani has a $12 billion budget deficit. How is he going to close that without asking Kathy Hochul, who has the same problem? They've driven people out of New York with high tax policy and anti-capitalist policies.
Are you a billionaire?
No.
Do you aspire to be one?
Millionaire.
Okay.
Millionaire. I don't need to be a billionaire.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. Oh, I'd love to hear more of your thoughts. But
Good, thank you.
all right, thank you. All right.
People don't, and let me give you an example. Tax code, its only benefit is for political gain. Did you know that? Tax codes benefit to our nation politically is they get to play to a whole crowd. We're going to save you tax. We're going to make them tax more, et cetera, et cetera. When nothing ever moves for you. Let me give you a basic class in economics. Do you know that if we went to a flat tax, no matter what, we wouldn't be running out of Social Security, and we'd be able to fund all these programs? And you know how I would do it? I would eliminate the IRS, and I'd use the mechanism in place for collection. You know what that is? When you buy something. It's simple economics. Add a very small tax, flat tax, on everything you purchase. Yes. So you go in and buy a burger. Your burger is going to have your regular taxes, and you're going to have another little flat tax there. But that counts as payment of income tax. Do you know why? You can't skirt buying. The illegals can't skirt buying because they're buying the same burgers. They're buying the same groceries. They're buying the same things. They're buying cars. So if we move to a very simple system, eliminate the IRS, eliminate all that BS taxing, and went to a flat tax, and it's basically transacted when you buy. Who ends up paying more tax? Pop quiz. If we went to that system, who ends up paying more tax? The person who buys a $20,000 car, or the person that buys the $20 million home? Wrong. It is not the consumer who pays more. That is incorrect. Everybody pays the same. Everybody pays the same. See, you spend your money on the things you feel you can afford. I know it sounds really funny, but it's basic economics. All of these variations go away. So whether that person is buying a hot dog on the street, or a burger, or a bag of groceries, or a bicycle, or a car, or a home, you spend predominantly on what you can afford or want. Same with billionaires, same with millionaires, same with foreign people in the country, same with illegals. It's just done there. Period. Nobody escapes the system for any reason. And by default, the people that make a lot more because they have the buying dollars, they end up contributing a lot more. Why? Because they're buying bigger things, more things, and very price high things. That's what levels it. That's what levels it. It's not a computational formula of a derivative of a derivative, a derivative of a whatever. It's not. It's a simple fact of life. Everybody contributes the same. See, in that scenario, nobody's biased. If you're in this category of earning, it's flat. Nobody gets a benefit. If it's in this category of earning, it's flat. Nobody gets a benefit. Same with corporations. A much lower tax at the corporate level, but all on goods and services and materials, there's a very flat corporate tax in it. Very, very small. But then all corporations are paying. But see, the system doesn't want fixes. What they need is people to believe, like that young girl believes, nobody should be a billionaire. Oh, you aspire to be a millionaire, you're bad. Do you see what I'm saying? But the system doesn't want simple fixes. Same with elections. We could fix every one of these things, just like President Trump's actually trying to do now on a very simple basis. But the system doesn't want simple fixes because, see, everything's political capital. Everything's trading for each other to get things done at our expense. A lawmaker wouldn't escape tax. An illegal wouldn't escape tax. Any of it. It's just on what you buy. And oh, by the way, let's say you make money and you don't buy a lot. Do you know what happens? United States banking ability savings accounts go through the roof because more people are what? Are what? Holding on to their money instead of just blowing it. You know what that does to our economy and our stability? Sends it automatically through the roof. So you don't have to spend it if you don't want to spend it. It's just when you spend it, you're going to pay that tax. Period. It is all, truly, folks, it is all that simple. But my final point, all of this politics, everything, it's a freaking con. Every bit of it. Left, there is no immune in it. Everything that goes on around us is a con game. We're trying to get out of the con game, but the con game is so deep. People are so shallow, and people do not dig. They can't even see the central casting right before them. Here's a good example.
I'm actually so mad at the Americans that are protecting Zelensky. For your record, Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, unlawful president. His dream always was to be like Putin. Zelensky's idol is Vladimir Putin. Zelensky always lived in Moscow. He always wanted to get to this high-end society. This is just a boy whose dream became true. He's a comedian. Here's some photographs of him being a comedian. He always lived in Moscow. Zelensky lived and worked in Moscow. I don't know why Ukrainians are super supportive of him. Just because they made a movie where Zelensky was a superstar and there was a movie where he's a president. They did this movie on purpose. So people are like, oh, this is a good idea for him to be a president. It's marketing. He's an actor, comedian. He used to be on the stage. And when he was on the stage, the best of honor for him was when Putin was watching him. There was a comedy show in Russia that's called KVN. How I know? Because I'm a singer. I was also there and singing there, for your record, okay? And when you're saying that Zelensky is so good for Ukraine, this person has nothing to do good with Ukraine or Ukrainian people. He was also LGBTQ music band participant. I'm not saying that it's bad, whatever. The music was cool, actually. I loved it when I was younger. And if you Google Kazaki music band, exactly how it is, on the screenshot, you can watch his music videos. And he's dancing there on a pole dance boots. So what my point is, this person always wanted to be up high over there with all possible ways. He will not stop from getting what he wants regardless of the way it should be. If he needs to sell his mom, how we say in Russian language, there is a saying like some person who will sell their mom just to get what they want. He's that kind of person. All your money that you are donating to Ukraine goes to his pocket and his friends' pockets. None of my friends in Ukraine received nothing in all this time. Nobody got one piece of bread from the billions you Americans sent.
This little central casting bet is not just about Zelensky. Macron's the same way. Over time, they've learned to recruit these characters in. We'll make you rich. We'll make you famous. For God's sakes, one of the podcasters teaching you about politics, commenting on why everything's broke, aspiration was to be the world's greatest white rapper. I want you to think about that. The system does not reward truth tellers. And that is why I work very hard to make you the smartest patriot in the room. We have to look at these things. Even like watching those bits on the church are totally freaking disgusting. But you have to see it. You cannot turn a blind eye to it. You have to understand what they're, and that stuff is in every institution we have in the United States of America. The way we fix this is you have to learn to identify it. You have to learn what the facts are. Get away from political speak and get to truth and facts and knowledge. We are the cure. That's it. We are the cure. But these people, conservatives included, podcasters and fraudcasters included predominantly, rub out an agenda right all over us. It's about clicks. It's about talking points. It's about being favored and liked and invited to the right parties and stuff. None of it's real. The only thing that matters, as I see it, is whether America survives or not. It is not going to be a politician that saves it. And unfortunately, it's not going to be a president either. A president can set the example, and you can look at the example Donald Trump sets and the example, say, an Obama, right? Or a Biden set. Same with that mom, with that little precious, beautiful girl in the back seat that's ashamed to be white, doesn't want to be white, doesn't want to be one of those people. If we're going to fix this, we must lead by example. The problem is inherently Americans are weak. They're weak because we've learned to like people and think everything's a popularity contest. I admit I am not a very likable guy. It's just the truth. The reason I'm not a likable guy is because I will call it like it is. I will just tell the truth. I can come out with cuss words. I can be dirty or whatever. I'm just me. But as I sit back and look at all of these machinations and everything that goes on, we live trapped in theater. We can swear we're God-fearing people. We can swear we're conservatives. We can swear this and that, but we never do it. Just like I talked about Tina Peters. Tina Peters would be one of the most effective weapons ever if she focused on what really fixes elections. Why would she be effective? She can talk to every citizen. She's not intimidating. People universally like her. She went through hell. She could make big, big changes in our system, but that would require staying true to getting it fixed, true to the path. What's really going on? It's not as much as the Q movement and those people glomming onto Tina. You understand what they're doing. They're a bunch of fucking vampires sucking the life out of Tina, hoping some of her credibility spills off on them because they have no credibility. And that's why the very same people, in my opinion, that got her in prison in the first place were the first people when she went in say, we're going to save her. We got to get her out. We got to raise her money. It is all a con. We're on our own, folks. And when I mean that, here's what I'm saying. You must save you if you want things different. And just like President Trump, when it comes to this politics things, is leading by example, you've got to lead by example. You got to lead by example. But how many people are afraid to share or like this program or follow or watch in the darkness because they don't want people to think they watch me? But we'll watch over here because somebody's on a speaking circuit with this on a speaking circuit with this on a speaking circuit. And they don't realize that's all for show. See, if they were teaching you something about how to fix this, you do understand they'd be teaching you every single day, every broadcast, how to fix this. What's really going on is a lot of promotions, posing, and credibility sucking from other people to think you're participating in something great. When it's all running money into their pockets, pulling off events. That's not fixing anything, folks. Nobody is going to save you except you. And the more of us that take responsibilities for our own lives, we don't amplify bullshit. We agree to have a standard to call it like it is, no matter who it pisses off. We agree to call out the people that act like they can't be called out because they wear a cross on the outside of their shirts and they mention Jesus. You understand that's the same thing as calling somebody racist. Well, I'm a Christian. Look at me. How dare you call me out? I'm telling you, if Jesus was here today, he would not be hanging with those people. He'd be kicking those people's asses to the curb. And he'd be amongst the people basically saying, and not in a nice way, get your shit together. Open your fucking eyes. This is the culture crisis we're in. Folks, I love you all. But all of this, the fix, the cure, begins with you.
Here's what is inside the pharmacy. Grow Soil Bible. Beautiful gardens, bountiful harvests, and homesteading abundant black gold. For too long, modern agriculture has poisoned the very ground beneath our feet. Synthetic NPK fertilizers delivered bigger yields at a devastating cost. They wiped out the teeming microbial life that once made soil rich, alive, and endlessly productive, trapping us in a cycle of chemical dependence and dying farmland. Now is the time to fight back. The Grow Soil Bible takes you on a powerful journey back to the ancient wisdom that created the world's most fertile soils. Discover the secrets of Amazonian terra preta, also called black gold, born from biochar, fish bones, compost, and microbial magic. Master the art of Chinese green tea composting and Japanese bokashi to transform kitchen scraps and yard waste into living, breathing super soil. Whether you're a backyard gardener, passionate homesteader, or family determined to build real food security, this book gives you everything you need. Step-by-step instructions, precise natural ingredients lists, and proven techniques to grow your own ultra-fertile dirt instead of buying dead bags from the store. Become a true dirt farmer. Revive the microorganisms that power life. Break free from synthetic slavery and slow chemical suicide and create abundant, nutrient-dense harvests that feed your family for generations. Your garden, your orchard, your future. It all starts with the soil. Reclaim the earth. Grow your own black gold.
Rennie Good was a gifted soul, a writer and a poet and a mother, wow. She tried to hit an agent with her car, oh no! Pop, motherfucker, now she's gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! You fuck around and find out it's what it is! Jeffrey Pretty was a Jewish homo. Started talking shit to protect a chomo. He was getting nicked when he pulled a gun. Bam, motherfucker, now you're gone! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Being a fucking liberal is a mental disease. Blue-haired and fuckables with the septum ring. You are not a hero, you're a fucking disease! Fuck around and find out what that is!
The upcoming 2026 midterms could be a bloodbath for Republicans? How? Consider this. On Election Day 2008, Barack Obama received 69 million votes. In his second term, he racked up 65 million votes, and he was considered the Democrat rock star president. Then Hillary ran against Donald Trump. She received the same 65 million votes. But come 2020, Joe Biden supposedly received 81 million votes? Was he really more popular than Obama or Hillary? Of course not. But that is not the half of it. In the 2024 election, Kamala Harris received 68 million votes. But did you know that now it's almost 2 years after that election, and somehow Kamala Harris has been elevated to over 75 million votes? How does a candidate get 8 million more votes after the election? Is this an attempt to validate the fraudulent 81 million vote fantasy from 2020? You bet. One thing stands between chaos and correcting history, and that is the historic 2020 full forensic archive of Maricopa County, Arizona. The single most detailed full audit of a presidential election in American history, audited over 2 million ballots, generated over 20,895,000 individual proof files. This took 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. This evidence must be kept for any and all future court cases, Supreme Court cases, and preserved for all time, eventually at the Trump Presidential Library. That is why we need you. You, the people, made this history happen, and now you, the people, can have a hand in making sure this evidence is saved for future generations. Please donate. Please help us. Donate now to continue to preserve in a chain of custody state of the only legal court-ready evidence of the 2020 election disaster, the 2.1 million physical ballots, the single largest forensic audit of a presidential election in American history. Please donate now and preserve history.